Hello and welcome. This is your Wish Upon a Star Lunar Horoscope for Tuesday, April 27th, 2021. Lunar will be voyaging to the sign of Scorpio, the Scorpion, bringing suppleness, urgency, constancy, revolution, insight, suspicion, and fascination. The full pink moon occurs while transiting the 17th mansion of the moon at 3:31 a.m. We're using the Universal Time Coordinated and Tropical Astrology. Luna's activation of Lunar Mansion number 17, it was going to occur while it's, again, a full pink moon. This is also going to be a supermoon. So the energy is going to be that much more intense. So not only is it a pink moon and a full pink moon, but it's a supermoon. So while it's transiting through Scorpio, the 17th mansion is going to be activated. Now the moon itself goes into the mansion number 17, again at 3:31 a.m. Now the activation of this mansion during the full moon, it's going to be, remember, at 100% light, but it's going to be more intense because it's a supermoon. It's going to be very potent for completing projective magic rituals and then starting plans for receptive magic spells, because it's a full moon. So it's all the way to its projection magic, and then it begins ever so slightly a receptive magic. It's where it begins to transition. So that's going to be a very intense time. So you can finish those projective magic rituals and begin to make plans for your receptive magic spells. Now, Mansion of the Moon number 17 is going to be in effect from the morning on April 26th at 9:30 a.m. until rather early in the morning on the 27th of April at 5:50 a.m. with the full moon occurring in Scorpio at 3:31 a.m. Lunar Mansion number 17 is magically activated at the exact time of the full pink supermoon in Scorpio. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. I'm a Rosicrucian seer, biblical astrologer, Christian psychic, and Gnostic mystic. And this is a Readings by Rosemary angelic transmission. Luna will be in Libra from 25 degrees, 42 minutes, 51 seconds, moving into Scorpio at 8 degrees, 34 minutes, 17 seconds, according to Abraham. The stars to wish upon inside the 17th mansion of the moon, named Al-Iqlil are named Acrab and Dschubba, that are in the crown of Scorpio, according to Warnock. So the name of the mansion is Al-Iqlil Dschubba, and the name of the stars are Acrab and Dschubba. And again, these are in the crown of Scorpio, the Scorpion, that constellation. This is according to Christopher Warnock. Now, Acrab and Dschubba are also named Beta Scorpii and Delta Scorpii. Those are the scientific names for these two stars. So ask the angel of Beta Scorpii and Delta Scorpii, who is named Adriel, to keep your treasures safe, to keep evil and thieves away from your house or your home as well. Agrippa reveals that the name of Mansion of the Moon number 17 as being Altschil. So that's the name he gives it. Agrippa calls it Altschil. Starting, that's during the same margins that we gave you from Abraham. So whereas Warnock calls it Al-Iqlil Dschubba, Agrippa calls it Altschil. These are differences in different cultures. That's why they're different, because people are coming from different cultures writing about it. So those are the two names that for Lunar Mansion number 17. Now, Agrippa states, in regards to this mansion, that this lunar mansion will improve destiny, that will strengthen the endurance and the devotion of relationships, the endurance of your devotion together in your relationships. It also will reinforce structures, and it also favors sailors, or those who have their vocations on the sea. Agrippa further discloses that to protect both person and property from bandits, sorceresses and sorcerers create a magical talisman from iron, having the rendering of an ape, a primate, an ape. Now, to further add to the magical power to this emblem, magicians sent the iron icon of a primate or an ape with the fur of an ape as well. According to Kabbalistic lore, Libra is ruled by Venus, while Scorpio is ruled by Mars and Pluto. Libra birthstone is opal, with Scorpio birthstone being citrine. Rosaries and amulets using citrine for Scorpio are magically potent for this praxis. Kabbalistic and alchemical planetary associations, in this instance of a full pink supermoon in Scorpio, whilst transiting through lunar mansion number 17, could be utilized with perfumes, essential oils, herbs, flowers, and also as well as colors you can use too. Planetary alchemical metals in this case would indicate iron for Mars and plutonium for Pluto. Iron, when ingested or injected, can be therapeutic, or it can cause too high of a level in the bloodstream. Since iron, the alchemical metal of Mars, used for this operation is neither ingested nor injected, iron is practical and workable for this function. Warning though, plutonium, the alchemical metal of Pluto, is toxic and it's radioactive, and is therefore neither pragmatic, it's not practical, and it's not usable, and it's not workable for this procedure. Only persons that possess the licensing, the skill, and the knowledge to do so should handle plutonium, obviously. Seeing it as Agrippa mentions that a potent emblem to ward off burglars bearing the representation of an ape should be made from iron, this alchemical metal of Mars would be an excellent choice for use in the making of a martial magical talisman specifically designed for this purpose. From this, we conclude that for fashioning rosary chains, amulet bases, or jewelry settings for magical workings during this mansion of the moon known as Al-Iqlil, Al-Jabba, or Al-Chil, iron is a persuasive selection for use. It's important to note here that according to Vivian Irwood Robson, author of the book The Fixed Stars and Constellations in Astrology, the Greek astronomer Ptolemy attributes these specific two stars of Acrab, Acrab is named Graphius in Robson's book, and Dschubba, which is named Isidis in Robson's book, which are located in the head and the forehead of the scorpion, as being attributed to the planets of Mars and Saturn in regards to the planetary nature of this area of the constellation of Scorpio the Scorpion. This is in contrast to other portions of the body of the scorpion, where Ptolemy assigns differing planetary aspects. Acrab and Dschubba are also named by academia as Beta Scorpii and Delta Scorpii respectively, whereas both Mars and Saturn are given by Ptolemy as being associated with the stars Acrab and Dschubba. We have already found that the martial metal of iron is a superior choice. Iron, Mars' choice of iron, a superior choice, considering that Agrippa also recommends this alchemical correspondence. Saturn, being the second planetary connection for both Beta and Delta Scorpii, possesses similitude with the alchemical nature of the metal lead. Warning, lead is toxic and can cause lead poisoning if ingested, inhaled, or absorbed through the skin, and therefore is neither sensible nor feasible for this process. In summary, Scorpio's birthstone of citrine is the gemstone of choice for rosary beads, as well as amulet or jewelry gems. In forming rosary chains, amulet bases, or jewelry settings, iron is the match recommended and an exceedingly potent alchemical metal for finishing a magical talisman meant to be used during the lunar mansion known as Al-Iqlil, Al-Jaba, or in some cultures, Al-Chil in other traditions. Warnock and Agrippa bringing that to you from these cultures that have different words. One of the ancient sources is the Imperatrix that many use. Now keep in mind that the number assigned to each mansion of the moon may vary reliant upon both the cultural and the astrological attributes of the system being used. What pinpoints the exact lunar mansion to which we are referring is made clear by the use of the star to be wished upon, as well as by the name of the indicated mansion of the moon. And we have given these things to you here. Other Kabbalistic correspondences for lunar mansion number 17 are as follows. Moon in Scorpio provides common sense in matters of love, romance, and procreation. Planetary archangel for Luna or the moon is Gabriel. God is my strength, power of God, and a messenger of God. Zodiac angel for Scorpio is Barchiel, whose divine tone is I create. Tarot card for Luna or the moon is the High Priestess. The High Priestess card here. You have the High Priestess with the pomegranates behind her head, the triple goddess crown of the moon upon her head. You have she's wearing a cross on her chest. She's carrying a Torah scroll in her arms, and she's sitting between the pillars of Yakim and Boaz. The waters of life from God consciousness are flowing over her into the crescent moon, the receptive crescent moon at her feet. She is associated with the moon, and this card is associated with the Hebrew letter Gimel, which means camel, and is the pathway to the higher self. Also, if you want a Bible verse, go to Psalm 119. And in Psalm 119, in some Bibles, not all, but in many, you will see the Hebrew letters listed in order. It's the third Hebrew letter, Gimel, on Psalm 119, and it will give you the proper prayer or Bible verse to recite, to further invoke. Gimel, camel, the path that leads to the crown chakra to Keter, the High Priestess card. Now, the Western Array musical note for the moon is F. We're going to play that for you now on the tuning fork. The Western Array musical note for Scorpio is E. Before I play that for you, though, I want to show you the tarot card. The tarot card for Scorpio is a death card. Now, the death card has many interesting facets. It's the white flower here with the down pointing 5 starred petals, and white flowers are often associated with death. So is black flowers associated with grieving. But, you know, they're kind of interchangeable. Weddings and death sometimes have the same meaning. We have the white horse, which indicates sexuality, and the knight, who's the skeleton, riding in a black suit of armor and walking over all of these body parts and all of these people, and they're trampling over, you know, the physical world. It's these two factors of sex and death, trampling over the physical world in this great sort of, you know, the constant churning of life and death, the wheel, churning of life and death. And you have the sun in the background that rises again, so it shows that there is a resurrection. And you have the vicar of Christ, the Pope upon earth, with the son of resurrection. Even if the physical is run over by the horse of and the rider of sex and death, even then, there's a resurrection. The vicar of Christ is a resurrection, as Christ was resurrected after his death. So it's an extremely important card. Like in a reading where you're, of course, in a health reading, it's not good, but in a in a love or romance reading, it means sex. So it's not necessarily emotional, but it means sexual encounters. So you see, it can have a good meaning if that's what you're looking for in a relationship, but it's not good in other meanings. So the cards have different meanings in readings, tarot readings, dependent upon the kind of question you're asking. Whether you're asking a mundane question or a spiritual question, whether it's about love or money or health, it's going to have different answers. Okay? And one of the prices of sexual reproduction is death. Organisms that don't sexually reproduce can be immortal, where organisms that have sexual reproduction, they have to have this constant churning over and regeneration. So it's one or the other. Now, again, for the Western array musical note for Scorpio is E. So I'm going to play that for you now on the tuning fork. E for Scorpio. The information that's found in the document attached in the description box, we have a blog that has all this information. You can see it in writing, how everything's spelled. And you can find the page numbers of the books we're going to recommend to you here in a moment. But the information that's in that document and that blog, and also that we presented to you in this video, is based on the oral tradition known as Kabbalah, taught to me by Rosicrucian clergy when I was but a young girl, the facts of which I've committed to memory. Much of the information about star magic was also taught to me through an adjacent German pagan coven, which had established satellite covens throughout the world. I was in one of those covens in America. I began writing a book based upon these extremely important teachings in 1988, which I have entitled to be my Star Magic Grimoire. And I'm developing that and presenting it to you. This is what I enjoy the most. Magic and lunar mansions have become extremely important to me, and star magic that goes along with it, because I've seen that it's extremely important in our lives. Lunar mansions are extremely important. I had an experience that really sent that home to me and made me conscious of how important they are. So it's always personal experience that makes something important to a person. So to give you some books that you can reference, my reference books, my recommendations for you for lunar mansions, should you want to do your own research and just for your own enjoyment, or to learn more about it and find the ephemeris. The first book I'd like to recommend is Mansions of the Moon, a lunar zodiac for astrology and magic, second edition, with 2019 to 2033 mansion ephemeris, written by Christopher Warnock in 2019, also illustrated by Nigel Jackson and published by Renaissance Astrology in 2019. Second, 3 books of occult philosophy, Llewellyn's Sourcebook series, authored by Henry Cornelius Agrippa of Nedisham, 1533, translated by James Freak in 1650, edited and annotated by Donald Tyson in 1993, published in 2000 by Llewellyn Publications. Thirdly, The Fixed Stars and Constellations in Astrology, authored by Vivian E. Robson, Bachelor of Science in 1923, published by the American Federation of Astrologers, Inc., cover designed by Jack Capola, and again, this was 1923. This book was published and copywritten. So we're doing one of these every week for the half moons, the 2 half moons, the full and the new moon. We're also going to be doing the equinoxes, the solstices, and any eclipses of the sun or the moon. So the 4 phases of the sun, 4 phases of the moon, and the eclipses is what we're doing and we're focusing on right now. So thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you soon, and please join us again.